This is Under Review, the show that talks about Colorado sports with a sprinkling of national sports stories as well. I'm Jordan Long. The NHL is at the All-Star Break, and tonight is one of my favorite nights of all the NHL All-Star festivities, the Skills Challenge. Tomorrow is the All-Star Game. Now it's time to look at the surprising team and most disappointing team at the NHL All-Star Break. For the surprising team, I'm going with the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, the Flyers haven't been to the postseason since 2020, and they were beaten by the New York Islanders in the second round that year. Last year, they finished at 31 wins, 38 losses, and 13 overtime losses for 75 points. They missed the postseason by 18 points. Looking at this year, they already look like an improved team as they stand at 25 wins, 19 losses, and 6 overtime losses for 56 points, third in the Metropolitan Division. If the season were to end right now, the Flyers would be in as the third seed in the Metropolitan Division. Remember, the top three seeds in each NHL division are in the postseason. So the fact that they are third, they would be in the NHL postseason, and they would face Carolina. Of course, everything can change once the second half starts. Now, the Flyers aren't a great offensive team, scoring 2.86 goals per game, 25th in the NHL. They have one of the worst power plays in the league, as they score on 13.3% of their chances with the man advantage. Those are awful stats on offense. How do they keep winning games? Well, I'm glad you asked, because defensively, they are playing well. They don't allow teams to spend that much time in their basically defensive zone. Philadelphia gives up 2.92 goals per game, 11th in the NHL. They're one of the best at the power play kill, as they kill off 85.9% of the penalties they take, second in the NHL. Their defense is what's keeping them in games and why they are having success. The Flyers have two goaltenders they can rely on, to make the saves, Carter Hart and Samuel Ersson. Both goaltenders have the same record at 12 wins, 9 losses, and 3 overtime losses. Ersson has the better goals against average at 2.60. So Ersson is playing well, has a goals against average of 2.60, and Hart's goals against average is still pretty good at 2.80. You have two goaltenders you can rely on as they are making the saves and not allowing many goals. Ersson, again's goals against average is at 2.60. Hart's is at 2.80. Save percentage goes to Hart at .906, but Ersson is still pretty good at .898. The way the Flyers are playing defensively, it will and can carry them to the postseason. They know they can count on their goaltenders. Of course, you need offense. Their offense hasn't been bad, but they need to have more scoring chances. They need to generate more to keep the puck in the offensive zone. Keep the puck in there, and you'll get a chance to go on the man advantage, but you have to dictate the play. Defensively, though, they don't need to change anything. They have two goaltenders who are going to stop the puck. Most teams don't have that. Yes, you have one, but you don't have two, and actually the Flyers have two. It's going to be up to their offense to earn a playoff spot. Their first game back after the All-Star break is on Tuesday when they face the Florida Panthers. They want to end their playoff drought. Now, on the other hand, the most disappointing team in the NHL is the Minnesota Wild. Now, the Wild were in the playoffs last year with a record of 46 wins, 25 losses, and 11 overtime losses. They ended with 103 points, second in the Central Division. Their season ended in the first round as they lost to the Dallas Stars in 6 games. The thing about that series was they were ahead 2-1, but lost 3 straight, and in those 3 straight losses, they were outscored 13-3. This season, Minnesota seemed like they were going to make another run to the playoffs. While they're struggling with a record of 21 wins, 23 losses, and 5 overtime losses for 47 points. The Wild's record, again, is 21 wins, 23 losses, and 5 overtime losses for 47 points. I'm going to repeat that. As you look at last year when they won 46 games, lost 25, had 11 overtime losses. This year, they have 21 wins, 23 losses, and 5 overtime losses for 47 points. That is 7 points behind St. Louis for the second and final wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Offensively, Minnesota can score at 2.98 goals per game, 18th in the NHL. Power play, though, they can't seem to score on it. Sure, they set it up, but teams can knock the puck away or block shots. The Wild score on 20.7% on the man advantage. So of their man advantage opportunities, they score on 20.7%, 17th in the NHL. Defensively, they can't stop teams from scoring, permitting 3.35 goals per game, 25th in the NHL. On the power play kill, they can't kill penalties. They allow teams to spend time in their defensive zone, and that gives opponents scoring opportunities, which usually end in goals. Their power play kill is awful at 73.5% of the penalties they take, 30th in the NHL. Only the San Jose Sharks and the New York Islanders are worse, though goaltenders aren't playing well. Future Hall of Famer Marc-Andre Fleury isn't getting help from his defense, and he's not stopping the puck. Marc-Andre Fleury's record is 8 wins, 9 losses, and 3 overtime losses. His goals against average is pretty good at 2.95, despite the fact that he doesn't have offensive help or defensive help. Marc-Andre Fleury's save percentage, though, and this is where it needs to be higher at .897. So you're looking at Marc-Andre Fleury's goals against average at 2.95, and his save percentage is .897. The other goaltender the Wild use is Philip Gustafsson. I will say that again, Philip Gustafsson. Now, Gustafsson's record is 13 wins, 13 losses, and 2 overtime losses. His goals against average stands at 3.28 with a save percentage of .896. Any way you look at it, you're looking at Marc-Andre Fleury with an 8, 9, and 3 overtime loss record. That is 8 wins, 9 losses, and 3 overtime losses, with a goals against average of 2.95, which is pretty good. Save percentage isn't at .897. And the other goaltender is Philip Gustafsson, whose record is 13 wins, 13 losses, and 2 overtime losses. Basically, 50%, or I should say, of 500 record for the goaltender, and his goals against average stands at 3.28 with a save percentage of .896. Any way you look at it, the Wild are struggling this year, at least at the break. They're lucky to be only 7 points out of the second wildcard spot. They need to play better defensively and not leave their goaltenders out to dry, which has happened way too many times. Of course, there's still time to improve. Hey, 7 points isn't that much. You go on a 4-game winning streak, and maybe the teams that are in front of you start losing games, and guess what? You're right back in the playoff hunt. They just have to play better defensively. That is the Minnesota Wild. Scoring will always be there, but if they keep letting opponents dictate the pace of play in the offensive zone, they won't improve. So defensively, they're fine, but scoring will always be there. But they don't need to let opponents dictate the pace of play in their offensive zone. Basically, what I mean is when they get into the offensive zone, they can't let the opponents dictate the play and take the puck away. You have to have more scoring chances. The Wild will be back on the ice on February 7th when they face the Chicago Blackhawks. Again, the most surprising team in my mind this year at the NHL All-Star Break is the Philadelphia Flyers, and the most disappointing team is the Minnesota Wild at the break. Of course, both of these teams have a chance to either improve or go down in the standings, so there's plenty of time for this to flip. Hey, maybe Minnesota will make a run, and I will say, oh, that was the most surprising team at the end of the All-Star break. We don't know, but for now, the Minnesota Wild is the most disappointing team, while the Philadelphia Flyers are the most surprising team. I'm Jordan Long. Follow me at X or Twitter, or whatever you call it, at SportsScoop1. Read my blog that I write, I should say. So follow me at X, at SportsScoop1, and read my blog that I write Mondays through Fridays at sports-scoop.com. Thank you for watching Under Review. Have a great day, and rest of your week and weekend, and I will catch you next time here on Under